Jai Srila Prabhupada, Hare Krishna Nama Prabhu Ki Jai, and welcome all of you for the 51st session of Soulful Japa. So, yesterday we had missed out to do our one round of chanting with Prabhupada. So, we'll start with that only in the morning. So let's do our first round of concurrent chanting come hearing. Chanting and hearing exactly the same word. Being directed by Srila Prabhupada, commanded by Srila Prabhupada as we go on chanting. Prabhupada intercepts us and says, he gives the golden commands to chant and hear exactly the same word. When you chant, you should hear. While you chant, you should hear. You chant and hear the Hare Krishna. Then your mind gets locked up. All those 4 quotes are coming along the way. So those who are new, I am just explaining. Please follow that. As soon as Prabhupada's commands come, you just be obedient and follow that. That is the way to train ourselves with this mindful japa. Please start.
Exactly the same sound you hear.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare.
You simply hear. When you say Hare Krishna, you try to hear the very sound.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare.
You simply chant Hare Krishna and try to hear the sound. That's all.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare.
When you chant, you must hear also.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare.
While chanting, you must hear. Hare Krishna, you must give attention to hear.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare.
As soon as you chant Hare Krishna, you hear it, then your mind becomes locked up.
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare
So, today we are going to discuss very something which is, if you remember, you will protect yourself from spoiling your bhakti. So this is about a particular school of thought who do not believe in the absolute nature of Krishna. All along, from module 1, we have been talking about Lord's name, Lord's form, Lord's activities, Lord's planet, all these things as beyond material nature and it being transcendental. That means they are spiritual. They do not belong to the material nature. They do not belong to the material world. Material world is called Maya world. Okay. So far we have discussed, we have understood. Vaishnava philosophy, Bhagavatam philosophy is that there is this material world which is this, which undergoes the cycles of creation, maintenance, annihilation. So it undergoes these 3 cycles eternally. Therefore, in this material world, nothing is permanent. Everything is, even though the energy is real, energy of the Lord, but nothing is permanent. At the same time, Bhagavatam says that beyond this material universe, there is Vaikuntha Loka, which is eternal, not subject to creation, maintenance, alienation. They eternally exist. And in those Vaikuntha planets, there are unlimited Narayanas, the predominating deities, and then the topmost planet among them is Goloka Vrindavana, where Krishna is residing eternally. He has his abode there. And that Krishna is the Brahma Samhita says, Ishvaraha Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. That Krishna is a cause of all causes. From him all has emanated. As Krishna himself declares when he came down and spoke Bhagavad Gita, Aham Sarvasya Prabho Mata Sarvam Pravartate, that everything is coming from me, everything is working because of me. So all these things is what we understand, from Bhagavatam and from the Vaishnava Acharyas. Therefore, there is a material world and there is a spiritual world. And when the Lord comes into this material world, he takes avatara. And we discussed so many different ways that when he takes avatara, he doesn't take a body like how we take a limited body. He can come into this material world in his own body, and for our sake, to be seen. He may be a Shakti Avesha Avtara, or he may be a external Vigraha, or whatever it may be. But as far as Lord is concerned, he is transcendently present, in his fullness, and executes his different leelas in this material world. So there is material world, there is spiritual world, which is spiritual world is transcendental, is of a different nature. Material world is of a different nature, which undergoes creation, maintenance, annihilation. And we are all tiny living entities who are amshas of Krishna, tiny living entities, unlimited tiny living entities in this material world. Krishna is a supreme living entity, Narayana is a supreme living entity, Vishnu is a supreme living entity, and we are also living entities. God is also a person, we are also persons, but God is a transcendental personality having a transcendental body, transcendental senses, transcendental dham, transcendental, everything is transcendental, beyond material nature. We take on material bodies and we also have, material name, material form, we have material activities, all these kind of things we have in this material world. So we are also persons, God is also a person. Now, in India at least, you can find you will encounter, invariably you will encounter all over India, one class of philosophers called Mayavadi philosophers. Now why we are discussing this is because sometimes you see, accidentally also you should not hear about Krishna from them, because very soon you will know why. It can destroy your bhakti. Therefore, I began this session by saying that what you are going to hear now will be a caution for you to protect your own bhakti by hearing a particular interpretation of the Vedas. Now this class of philosophers, they are also Vedantists. We are also Vedantists. We also rely on the scriptures. They also rely on the same scriptures. They interpret all our scriptures. We interpret all these scriptures. They interpret Bhagavad Gita. They interpret Bhagavatam. They interpret Vedanta Sutra. Our acharyas have also given us this explanation of the Vedanta Sutra, explanation of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, everything. So, then what is the controversy? So, instead of going into the details of controversy, let us first go into take a historical perspective, because ultimately Krishna is in control of everything. The Kali Yuga or whatever Yuga, Krishna is in control of everything. At the time of Buddha himself incarnated, we know he is one of the Dashavatars, he incarnated. For a particular purpose he incarnated. The purpose was, at the time of Buddha, the Vedas were quite prevalent in the society. But what was happening was mass misuse of the Vedic injunction that one can sacrifice an animal in a particular way and consume meat. There is a particular injunction for certain class of people, and that injunction is such that you have to do so many rituals and everything, and finally end of the day, before killing the animal, you also need to tell into the ears of the animal that this life I am killing you, some other life you can kill me. These are the regulations. With all these regulations, the animal is sacrificed as per the procedures. And as per procedures, if you do that, that animal who is sacrificed will get a human life. It's a promotion for that soul. So these are exemptions, rare exemptions, somewhere here and there it is given. But that became order of the day, and indiscriminately animal killing was going on. Okay, in the pretext of the Vedas. Now, in order to stop this, Lord Vishnu, he had his plan. And this is described in Padma Purana. In advance, in Padma Purana, it is described that Lord Shiva would come down as a Brahmana, and he will interpret the Vedas in such a way. Okay, before that, let me see. So it was being misused. Now Buddha came. What did Buddha do? He told the people, you reject the Vedas. And Krishna himself, this avatara, one of the avatars, Buddha himself came and he told the population, reject the Vedas, because that is the only way to re-establish non-violence. So they rejected the Vedas, and he gradually propagated the principle of non-violence. So animal killing has stopped because all the people became Buddhists. All over India became practically Buddhist. Now the Lord has to bring back the Vedas into the human society. And for that, Shankaracharya was sent. And as a Brahmana, Lord Shiva was sent. And as a Brahmana, as Shankaracharya, he took the Vedas that has been rejected and interpreted them in such a way that it is very close to Buddhism. Buddhism is basically, as far as ultimate truth is concerned, the philosophy of Buddhism, practical aspect is ahimsa. As far as the absolute truth is concerned, Lord Buddha said that there is nothing like that. There is nothing like God. It is a shunya. Just this body just goes on. Life after life it goes on. It's all part of material nature. Very close to modern scientists, what they say. Modern scientists also say that the chemicals mix together, and due to a certain combination there is consciousness. Consciousness is not an independent reality. It is just like it just when cells are mixed in a particular way, the consciousness comes out of matter. So they believe only in matter. Gross matter, of course, modern scientists believe only in gross matter. Buddhists believe in gross matter, subtle matter, reincarnation, all that they believe in. Okay, that just body reincarnates according to law of karma. Not that there is a soul inside and it reincarnates. So that is a Buddhist philosophy. So Shankaracharya came and he gave an interpretation which is very close to Buddhism, in order to bring back all the Buddhist followers back into the Vedic fold. And he succeeded in doing that. Practically Buddhism was out, and this philosophy of Nirguna Brahman. What is the philosophy? He said, no, God is not Shunya or absolute truth. Neither Buddhists talk about God or Shankaracharya talks about God. God and all is not a subject at all. What is final truth? So according to Shankaracharya, he gave the interpretation that no, as per Vedas, the absolute truth is a nameless, formless, nirguna, qualityless Shakti, which you cannot describe. Because the moment you describe, then that is part of this material world. So this is called Nirguna Brahman. So from Buddhism, which is saying everything is Shunya, Shankaracharya brought one step up. No, there is some Brahman, there is some spirit, consciousness which is different from matter. So he postulated that consciousness. Shankaracharya is the one who first postulated consciousness. In Buddhism, there is no consciousness. Consciousness is a result of just material energy. Whereas in what Shankaracharya said, he postulated, he took out from the Vedas and proved from the Vedas that consciousness is an independent reality, independent of material nature. So something transcendental he brought. Yes, there exists something transcendental beyond material nature. This was contribution of Shankaracharya. Okay, having established that, then how did Shankaracharya interpret all the other things, the different kinds of worship that we have, Krishna's incarnation, Krishna's leelas, and so many demigod worshipping, all those things are also in the Vedas. He has to interpret. If the absolute truth is Nirguna, then who is Krishna? Because Krishna is a form, Krishna is an identity, Krishna engaged in different leelas, all these things in the material world. So he simply said, they are all part of Maya. They are called Mayavadis. Just like today, so many human activities are going on. Like that, some extraordinary activities went on. Krishna, Rama, they were all just historical personalities, like me and you. Me, you, Krishna, Rama, whoever it is. Finally, absolute truth means Nirguna. There is no God, there is no I, you, all this master, Shishya, all those things are only in the Maya world. If you have perfected your realization, it's all gone into Nirguna Brahman. So that means, what is their interpretation? When Krishna had a body, Rama had a body in this material world, they were engaging in leelas. He simply said they had very high quality of sattvic bodies, but they were material bodies. That Nirguna Brahman has become you, me, or Atma of Rama, or Atma of, like that. Inside everybody, it is the same Brahman. I am you, you are me. The famous philosophy you will hear. I am you, you are me. Everybody is one. There is no master, there is no servant, there is no guru, there is no disciple, in the ultimate sense. No guru, no disciple, no worshipper, worshipped. Then how can you say that even the Shankara school of thought, they have temples and they worship Krishna and all those things? Yes, that is why it is very dangerous. They also sing bhajans, all those things. They also have Bhagavad Katha, everything. But their bottom line, their understanding is that Krishna does not exist eternally. There is no eternal kingdom. Right now, what you are thinking is all sankalpa in your mind. But it is very good for concentration, because man is a thinking, feeling, willing person. So you need personal worship. So by personal worship, you worship, then you merge into that, into the worshipped. It does not matter whether it is, they call it as Ishtadevata. It does not matter if that is Krishna or Rama. You need some form. It could be any form. You worship, you dedicate yourself fully, give heart and soul, everything. That is bhakti. They will preach about bhakti yoga, they will preach. And what is the goal of bhakti yoga? So that you merge into the object of worship also vanishes. And you and one, nirguna. So it's like a spiritual suicide. Your individuality, you are finishing. God's individuality, you are finishing. So we have to be very, very cautious about this, hearing this philosophy. So, they basically, they say that even Krishna, whatever even some of them, sometimes they even say that whatever Vyasadeva have written, this could be all imagination of Vyasadeva also. Even to that degree, they are considered to be Vedantist. When it comes to Puranas, all those things, they don't think it is actually Puranic history. They say these are all, could be, the imagination of Vyasadeva. With a purpose, of course. And what is there, according to them, that purpose? That purpose is to, to glorify Krishna in such a way that, because he says become detached, he says free from sense gratification. So, okay, Krishna is a good idol. Krishna is a good role model for me. So like that they say all these Krishna, Rama, they're all excellent role models for human being to go and merge and become one with that absolute. There is no God, there is no anything. This is their understanding. So then, so fundamentally you just see, Krishna is not eternal for them. For us, Krishna is the eternal personality. Not only eternal personality, even Brahman has come out of him. That Nirguna Brahman is actually a small aspect of the absolute truth. The Brahma Jyoti in the spiritual world, that is Brahman. We are particles of Brahman. And they say bhakti is not eternal. Love of Krishna is not eternal. No, love of Krishna is, according to Vaishnava philosophy, is eternal. That is a sum and substance. What is the definition of the soul? I am eternal servant of Krishna. So, ultimately Krishna is not God, but some impersonal energy is God. That impersonal energy has become all this material energy and material people and all those kind of things, all these kind of things in three gunas. So anybody, if you talk about an identity, if you talk about a name, if you talk about an activity, gone. It is not Param Satya. It is Maya. Param Satya means no form, no identity, no feelings, no thinking, no willing, nothing, no desiring. You are no longer a person, you merge into impersonalism. So that is the conclusion of Shankaracharya's philosophy. But even though Shankaracharya, how did he do this? Shankaracharya, he, with his grammatical, with his intelligence, he twisted the meaning of those Vedanta Sutra, twisted the meaning of everybody is ultimately interpreting the literature left by Vyasadeva. That is common. The Vaishnavas or Smartas or whoever it is, Mayavadis, they are all using that same scripture. So very expertly he twisted them to take out impersonal meaning out of those verses. Just like you say Vedanta Sutra, Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman. That is a Vedic aphorism. Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman. What it means according to Vaishnavas is, yes, I am of the quality of Brahman. I am Brahman. And I also know there is Parabrahman. There is a Supreme Brahman. Now they say Aham Brahmasmi. I am that Brahman. I am that Supreme. Aham Brahmasmi, Tattvamasi. Tattvamasi. I am that. Means I am that quality. Just like if you say, I am Indian, and the Prime Minister is Indian, so I am Prime Minister. So this kind of interpretations have been given. Same verse, same things taken, and God is impersonal. Okay? So, but please understand, Padma Purana has got evidence where under Lord Vishnu's order, he is coming and doing it in order to re-establish Vedas into the society after Buddhism had taken over all over the world. So there was a purpose, and that purpose is served. After that, Lord Vishnu is all, Krishna is in control of this existence. Okay, we had Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, they're all acharyas who brought in took the same Vedanta Sutra and said, proved, no, what Shankaracharya said is wrong. Param Satya, absolute truth, what you can deduce from this scripture is that God is a person, there is a supreme person, and we are all his amshas, part and parcel. So personalist philosophy came into India, became prevalent. Shri Sampradaya, Ramanujacharya became very prominent. The Madhvacharya became very prominent. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu extended this. He took, initiation in the parampara of Madhvacharya, and then he extended that to integrate Ramanujacharya's philosophy, Shankaracharya's, everything, all of them together. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu developed this or gave this world this philosophy of Achintya Bheda Bheda Abheda Tattva. Bheda and Abheda. We are one with and different from God. We are one with God because we are His energy. Effect has cause in it always. Cause always has effect in it. So in that way, we are caused by God. Therefore, we are not totally separated from God. We are part and parcel of God. So in this way, our quality, we are qualitatively one with God, but quantity-wise, God is unlimited, I am limited. So this is the philosophy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is the philosophy of Vaishnavism. All Vaishnava Sampradayas have same philosophy. God is the Supreme Person. There is a Parabrahman and there is Brahman. Unlimited Brahmans are there. There is one Parabrahman. And that Parabrahman is Krishna. That Parabrahman is Narayana, Vishnu. That category, Vishnu Tattva. All the Sampradayas agree that there is a category called Vishnu Tattva. Now the difficulty is with the people to accept this, philosophy of personalism is because, just like you see, I was seeking so much truth when I was an IIT. What is the absolute truth? What could be the cause of all causes? I was always exploring what is the cause of all causes, because basically I was a science student and I really fascinated with the method of inquiry about the world around us by science. Because really science started as philosophy in the early days. So those principles of rational thinking, scientific, evidence-based thinking. So I was very excited about, finding the cause of all causes. And that is how, at one point of time I was having full faith that physics will reveal that everything, what is the cause of all causes. Of course, just immature and young person seeking, on my own speculation, because we think, what is God? And, what is all this universe? You ask this question. So I used to ask this question, and then I thought the closest was this scientific thinking. They are always going, okay, now atom, inside atom what, inside that what, inside that what is the final cause? That excited me. Theoretical physics. Finally, at one point of time, I came to the conclusion that the very definition of modern science itself is that they don't want to touch mind, they don't want to touch intelligence, they don't want to touch these things. They have no explanation of these things also. They say that we will study only what our five indriyas will see. That's all. Objective world. So that I thought was very limiting. Then that's how I went into philosophy of Krishna consciousness. So different kinds of philosophy of, what's the absolute truth and all these things. So none of those things really satisfied me, in the sense that this Mayavadism also I did go through it. That is why today I am strong like this. I went through it, and in those days I met some Mayavadi gurus. In the sense, I put this question to them. I can't understand that if I am God, if I am everything, how Maya is more powerful than me, because they have the philosophy of Maya, more powerful than me. Why I am suffering in this material world? Why I have fallen? Why I am suffering in this material world? I should not be, because I am God. Then there is no answer. They simply give an example of snake and a rope. The famous example they used to say, okay, so this material world is looking like a snake, but it is actually a rope. But actually nothing exists. It's all illusion. Seeing is illusion. Everything is illusion. When you realize that, then that is Nirguna Brahman. So this cannot be explained. I cannot give an answer to you in our language. You simply have to become that Nirguna Brahman and realize. So I was not happy with that. And then that is when I came across. Now the reason, in spite of so much of speculation, in so much of thinking about, what could be God, what could be God, what could be God, hours together, days together, I used to think. But still, at no point that day, even my speculation, I didn't even put a proposal that God could be a person. I had gone up to the point that God is some intelligence, some Shakti, intelligence. But never thought that God is a person. Why? Because there is a reason why many people also don't accept God as a person. Because they see person means limited. Within their experience, they only know about limited persons. Limited identity, limited body is limiting. They're thinking, how can a person be God? God means he cannot be limited. And that is when mercy of Srila Prabhupada, when I read Prabhupada's, first time I touched Prabhupada's books. In fact, when I just joined IIT, at that time itself my inquiry was going on. So IIT library used to have a long, full 2 sides books on full bay of both sides philosophy books. So just to check out, I went first time after joining IIT, and then I walked along the aisles and all those. Then I saw these beautiful books, Prabhupada's Bhagavatam. And then I pulled out one book because they're so attractive, they stand out, beautiful covers. So I took out one, and then I saw, Vishnu is on Garuda, sitting on Garuda. And so I immediately, in my mind told, this is all stories. This is not about absolute truth. It's all stories. Storybooks, put it back there. But then, after 3 years after that, every time I used to walk in that aisle, I never touched Prabhupada book, but I picked most of those, philosophy, and read it. And then finally I had no answer for anything. And one day, I was practically, got into a kind of an existential frustration. There is no meaning in life. What is the use? Who am I? Look at the number of stars on the sky. Whether I live or die, what difference does it make? There's no meaning at all to this existence. That kind of frustration had come. And then that day I had, there was a weekly test, and then that test paper I wrote that you will see me, jumping off the main building, committing suicide. I like that. I wrote that message also there. Morning test paper I handed over. Then there was, along with me, there was another friend called Vijay Govind, who was also he was with me in the search for truth. So then, both decided we'll jump off the main building tomorrow. Forget it. So then, having decided that, I felt highly relieved, because so many years I was going on searching, what is God, or what is. But never thought God is a person. What is the truth? What is the absolute truth? Like a scientist. And then went, and that day also, as usual, went in the evening, and I sat there. I walked along the aisle. Then I had no desire. I had given up search for truth. Forget it. Both sides, simply like a conditionally, I was walking along this way, that way. And finally, when I came to Prabhupada's books, then I said, okay, let me read some stories today. Forget all this truth Vishaya, truth subject, and I'll leave it. Nobody knows the truth. Nobody knows the truth. There's no meaning at all to existence. So then I picked up storybook. There was normal Bhagavatam set was there, and Prabhupada's other Krishna book were 3 Krishna books, big books, like a children's story book it is. The original print of Krishna book. So I took that big hardbound Krishna book, simply went and sat in the same place where Prabhupada, where I used to sit and read every evening. Then I opened on Prabhupada's one page, and then I saw this Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karana. Then I read 2 pages, 1 page, 2 page. I was shocked. I said, even in my mind, I didn't think of a person with unlimited capacity, a person who is unlimited senses, a person who has got unlimited energies, unlimited ownership, unlimited Bhagavan, All those things, all that things came in those 2 pages. I immediately I knew this person who is speaking, that he knows what the Param Satya, what is the absolute truth. And then immediately that I had tears in my eyes. I said, there's a meaning in my life now. There is a meaning in my life. I want to find out who is Krishna. I want to learn who is Krishna. Who is this absolute God? Scientists did not know. Though so many philosophers did not know. Now here somebody is speaking that God is a person, and he is describing what kind of a person he is. So most of the people in the material world, they cannot accept person as a God because they don't first of all understand that there is another category of person called Vishnu Tattva, who is an infinite person. My thinking, feeling, willing is limited, but God's thinking, feeling is unlimited. There's a category of Satya, truth, of that type, and that is God Tattva. So the very easily impersonalist will say that, if you go and hear that, no, it's all, how can God be? See, Krishna, we came. Yeah, how can God be a finite boundary? How can God be a finite boundary? They say. But they don't know that in that finite, so-called finite boundary, Krishna showed the entire universe. That means they have no understanding of a form which is infinite, which can fit everything inside. So this is one of the reasons intellectuals get blocked in accepting God, because they do not know this fact about infinite personality with infinite senses, infinite intelligence, infinite, and he can still be a person. And that is bhakti. That infinite personality, he is the one who is on our tongue. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And he is extending his relationship with every part and parcel. Oh, how can this be? I mean, if I worship somebody, how much attention he can give me? 10 people worship him. He cannot give in the material world. He cannot give. If a father has 20 children, he cannot give attention to them. What to speak of millions of jivas? That is this is the unlimited capacity of God. Krishna can give attention to each one of us if there is bhakti. Otherwise, you cannot reach him. He does not need anything. He needs love from us for our sake, because we are suffering. He is not starving from love because unlimited devotees are there for him. But particularly with each jiva he is concerned. That is why as Paramatma is residing in each of our heart. So we have to be very careful about this. Otherwise, we can lose our bhakti, because suddenly, you change your paradigm that what I am chanting is all just sankalpa. They don't actually know Krishna. But because now as a Vaishnava I am presenting it, if you want to hear impersonal philosophy, you should hear from Vaishnavas. Just like if you want to know what is Shankaracharya's philosophy, you should read Chaitanya Charitamrita. From Prabhupada's thing, from our Acharya's perspective, you should read and understand. So best is to avoid, in one sense, people who chant, they say Hare Krishna, or you chant any mantra you chant, because mantra, the person is not important. What is important is the words of the mantra. What's important is the silence between the two mantras. All kinds of things. For Hare Krishna mantra also they say the effect of that. Give mundane interpretation they give. All these things. So we have to be very careful to hear all these kind of material interpretations of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Because we know the Lord's name is transcendental. And it is descending. Non-different from Krishna himself is on our tongue. So we should not spoil our bhakti by hearing this kind of a interpretation. I hope you got the point here. There's no point in, basically you don't believe in Krishna. That's what it means. Even you have a process of worship, but you don't believe in him. He is simply an image for you to merge your consciousness. His image vanishes, your image vanishes, his identity vanishes, my identity vanishes, I am one with you. So let's read one or two quotes of Prabhupada and then, put up the quote. It is also stated in Bhagavatam that simply by hearing from an authoritative source, with the ear and heart, one can relish the pastimes of the Lord. Otherwise, it is not possible. Sanatana Goswami, therefore, has especially warned that one should not hear anything from the lips, from the personality of Lord, about the personality of Godhead from the lips of a non-devotee. Actually, these impersonalists are called non-devotees, Buddhists are called non-devotees. Please understand one thing. You see Prabhupada's pranam mantra, Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityaname. That is first one, that he is surrendered to Vishnu and is very dear to Krishna. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane. Okay, spread the words of Gauranga, Gauravani. And what is that message, Gauravani? Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarne. Nirvishesha is what? Nirguna Brahman philosophy. Shunyavadi is what? Buddhism philosophy. Prabhupada drove out Buddhism philosophy and impersonal philosophy out of the West by bringing the idea of a personal God who is Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Till then, no saint from India has gone and told that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. Nobody has. Because they don't believe in it. They are shy to say, why? Krishna is a Hindu God. I am going for Vedanta. I am going to America to give universal message of Vedanta. You give message of Krishna, it is Hinduism. Prabhupada did not do that. And this is the reason why Prabhupada said, when he translated the Bhagavad Gita, so many translations are already there. They were all ripping Krishna out of the message of Bhagavad Gita and giving some philosophy. But Prabhupada gave Bhagavad Gita as it is. He established Krishna, because when Krishna is directly saying certain things, aham, aham sarvasya prabho mata sarvam pravartate, manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskaru, tameva sharanam, I am aham sarvasya prabho mata sarvam pravartate, sarvasya cha aham hridi sannivishta mata smriti jnanam apohancha, Ishvara sarvabhutani hrideshi arjuna tishtati. Completely, Bhagavad Gita is completely a personal exposition. It's like a love letter from God to the humanity. And they take out that message of sense control, all these kind of things, and they take away Krishna. They don't speak about Krishna. You see in all these commentaries of Gita, of impersonal philosophers, they don't talk about Krishna. And you take Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita as it is, every purport, every Bhaktivedanta purport, you will see 4 or 5 Krishnas, everywhere Krishna. You count the number of times Krishna is coming in his purports. And that is how the people, by surrendering to Krishna. Krishna is not a sectarian God, Krishna is not a Hindu God, as people think. Krishna is God. God cannot be Hindu, God cannot be Christian, God is God for everybody. This Prabhupada established by awakening their Krishna consciousness in people who had no association with Indian culture. And that is the power of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Krishna himself transforms the living entities and awakens their thing. So, as especially warned, Sanatana Goswami has warned that one should not hear anything about the personality from non-devotees. Non-devotees are considered to be like serpents. As milk is poisoned by serpent's touch, so although the narration of the pastimes of the Lord is as pure as milk, when administered by serpent-like non-devotees, it becomes poisonous. Not only does it have no effect in transcendental pleasure, but it is dangerous also. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has warned that no description of pastimes of the Lord should be heard from Mayavada or impersonalist school. He has clearly said, Mayavadi bhashya sunile hai sarvanasha. If anyone hears the Mayavadi's interpretation of the pastimes of the Lord, see, you should not even hear the pastimes of the Lord from such people. or their interpretation of Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, or any other Vedic literature, they are doomed because they get a completely twisted understanding and lose faith in the person Krishna existence. Once one is associated with impersonalist, he can never understand the personal feature of the Lord and his transcendental pastimes. So, basically this is the idea, no need of the other quote. This is the idea. You can read 2-3 other quotes also I have given. It is very important part of Soulful Japa to really understand this, so that somebody does not come and put in your ear some idea that, oh, God has no form. Oh, so many forms, God can have so many forms, right? Okay, you worship Krishna, I'll worship Ganesha, I'll worship Shiva, I'll worship. They're all meant for ultimately, all these worship ultimately lead to one formless God. God? No, sorry, no. They'll say no. God means identity again. Formless substance. Nirguna Brahman. Okay. So this is, I'll take some questions now. Where does Aprakrita Nama reside? In the heart? Aprakrita Nama resides in the spiritual world. He descends into your heart when you chant. And then he comes on to your tongue into that sound. It descends into your heart because as a devotee, when you want to call out the Lord, it is the heart that calls out. Even if you are mechanically calling out, if it is under the order of Srila Prabhupada, then ultimately it is the spirit that invokes the Lord coming on your nama. Okay, so where does he reside? So the nama, as soon as I chant Hare Krishna, into that Hare Krishna the Lord descends, whether through the heart or direct, leave that. He descends into the nama. He is not stuck in any place. He is not stuck. That because you uttered that sound is gone. That sound has done its job. What was its job? To purify you. If you heard it, then you got purified. Otherwise, tomorrow again you are chanting, another sound is manifesting before you, and you are again chanting. Again you are associating with that. You see the difference? Just like in the external Vigraha, deity, they stay, the same Vigraha is staying there every day. But here the external Vigraha, every moment is changing. Today you are uttering Hare Krishna, into that Hare Krishna is coming. Tomorrow you are uttering another Hare Krishna, into that he is coming. You understood? So there are different ways, different kinds of external Vigrahas. So sound Vigraha is like this. Nama Vigraha is like this. When you utter, he comes into it. Because he has assured that, Kalikale Krishna, Nama Rupa Avatara, he has assured. So he will come, he will descend into that sound. You write, when one chants, he rises from the heart, enters the sound produced from the tongue, invests all power into it, then Shakti Aveshanama enters and the mind and the heart. Yes. So, first of all, the Lord enters into the Shakti Aveshanama, whether he enters from the heart. In a pure devotee chant, when you chant with devotion, he comes from the heart. He enters the heart, and from the heart he comes. That means your chanting itself is devotional, not mechanical. So the chanting itself comes out as Aprakrita Nama with the Prakrita, with the external, the Shakti Aveshanama. If you are not, you are a disciple of Prabhupada, you are a sadhaka, you don't have that devotion, does not matter. You are actually the Prabhupada's blessing, you are chanting Prabhupada's name. Prabhupada has given that name to you, you have faith in him. So Aprakrita Nama descends into that Nama. Okay. Then it enters into the sound produced from the tongue, invests all power, and now that Shakti Aveshanama, because I can only utter that. Aprakrita Nama I cannot vibrate, because it is transcendental. He is transcendental. I cannot vibrate transcendental Nama with my material tongue. But he is accompanied in that material vibration, in a sound which is resembling that. It enters Shakti Aveshanama along with the Aprakrita Nama, who is residing within. Because he is residing only, that becomes Shakti Aveshanama. So together they are being heard with attention. when you read with, when you hear with attention, you are hearing with attention Shakti Avashanama, but you are perceiving, your attention is also touching the presence of Prakritanama. How the whole world will change if a handful of devotees chant mindfully and soulfully. You mentioned this in the module. Prabhupada has said that the chanting of the Hare Krishna is so powerful. If devotees can chant, they'll purify the whole world. It has that power, it has that effect. Okay. So it brings auspiciousness to the world. It spreads auspiciousness, Krishna Nama. So if some devotees develop mindful chanting and soulful chanting, definitely it will not only purify them, the influence of that will go everywhere around them. It will go around them. A bhakta can never keep quiet. Wherever he goes, he will touch, make others bhaktas. He will give an opportunity for everybody to awaken. Because a bhakta, he sees how much I am enjoying Krishna consciousness. I thought I am this body. Now I lost my body consciousness and I am in the consciousness that this body is only an instrument for me. It's only a machine for me. I am enjoying Krishna consciousness. I am enjoying relationship with Krishna. I am enjoying eternal life even when I am in this material body. I have no fear. I am surrendered to Krishna. Krishna is my protector. Krishna is a maintainer. He is the supreme controller of everything. Why I should worry? I should simply be his servant and execute, his mission. So wherever he goes, he tries to awaken the living entity. You can also enjoy this Krishna consciousness. Don't think you are this body and don't fear that I am going to die. Again, I am going to be born. Anything happens to the body, you think everything is, my whole existence is gone. No, your existence is beyond this. Is it an offense to chant Maha Mantra before brushing teeth, during bath in bathroom, or during house cleaning, or after consumption of caffeine? No, it's not. You can chant Namna Kari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shakti Tatrarpita Niyamita Smaranena Kala. There is no time when this Nama can be uttered. There is no rules and regulation like that also. You can utter it anytime. This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's verdict. Thank you very much for the wonderful. Could you please describe why then there are different school of thoughts even in Vaishnava like Dvaita, Shuddha Dvaita, and also Vishishta Dvaita, Shuddha Dvaita? No problem. They all accept this personal God. So there are there are 4 Vaishnava Sampradayas, which we all accept as bona fide Sampradaya. Sri Sampradaya is bona fide, Madhva Sampradaya is bona fide, Vishnu Swami, or Nimbarka Swami. There are 4 bona fide Vaishnava Sampradayas. So there in the absolute truth, there are varieties. For instance, Sri Vaishnavas. It's more about worship of the Lord in a different mood of Narayana. So if Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not come and say Madhva philosophy is wrong, he did not say Ramanuja philosophy is wrong, he integrated them all and he gave that, yes, they are all speaking about the same thing. That Krishna or God is a person. Okay. So there will be slight differences. For instance, the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives evidence from different scriptures that Krishna is Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. He is the original person from whom Narayana is all coming. Okay, Sri Vaishnavas say, no, Narayana is there and from Narayana Krishna took avatara. But they are all transcendental. So then where is the question? We should not argue unnecessarily. There is no problem. Krishna and Narayana are same, no? Who is origin, first of all, you should understand, the person who is arguing does not know who is Narayana, who is Krishna. And then he is asking who is primary. First you understand who is Narayana, who is Krishna. When you understand who is Narayana, who is Krishna, the question will vanish. Okay, there is transcendental differences which we cannot understand with our material. Krishna is the original candle from whom all these candles are coming. Okay. What happens to our relationship, Guru, when you go back to Godhead? in the context of analogy of Guru as a via media, just like glasses to approach Krishna. No, Guru is always a transparent via media. As far as personalists are concerned, as far as Mayavadis are concerned, Guru is only required till you realize. If once you realize, then you should give up Guru. Now, why give up Guru? You should give up yourself also, your identity also. You don't exist, Guru don't exist. These are all illusions. Go and merge. For the previous question, I didn't say fully. Yeah, so in the context of with Guru, when we go back to Godhead. So when we go back to Godhead, as far as we are concerned, our spiritual master, because we accept a Sadguru. If you accept a Sadguru, then he remains our guide even in the spiritual world. Through him we render our service to the Supreme Lord. Because they are eternal associates of the Lord. Who wrote Prabhupada's Pranam Mantra? Prabhupada's Pranam Mantra was, I need to research on that. Bhakti Siddhanta, the first mantra was always there. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur also had that Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Niti Namane. That became Prabhupada, it became Prabhupada. The second part of it, I think it was discussed among devotees. If you get any information, please write to me in Telegram, do some research and let me know. It's an interesting question. I remember having heard some kind of a discussion Prabhupada having with some devotees. Or it was only about, not about Pranam Mantra, I think it is about being called as Prabhupada. I think that's what I heard. About Pranam Mantra, I have not heard anything. If you know anything, you please let me know. You mentioned that everyone is interpreting the original text provided by Vyasadeva. Can you explain what is the philosophy of Smartha Brahmanas, their goal, etc.? Exactly, Mayavadism is a goal of Smartha Brahmanas. So they also be appearing to follow they are following all the rituals. Ritual wise, everybody is, because the same Vedas are talking. But what is the objective of those rituals? Who is non-devotee? People around worship demigods who find it difficult to accept Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So if they don't accept Krishna as Supreme Personality of Godhead, then they are not devotees of Krishna. No, you have to accept. In IIT incident, it will be very interesting to know how you dealt with your previous conclusion with your colleague to end life and his reaction later when you changed mind. Oh, he also became a devotee. I shared that with him. And then after 3-4 days, the faculty, our faculty advisor called me up. In each student has a faculty advisor in the school, like a guardian. He called me up because my answer paper had gone to him from our chemistry professor. It gone to him. Please, this is what the person has written, like this. Is he still alive? So he was very happy to hear I was there. Then he asked me what happened. I told him all these things. Next. Hare Krishna Prabhu Dhandavad. How we completely avoid Vaishnava Aparadha. Vaishnava Aparadha can be avoided by learning how to give respect to everybody and not expect any respect for oneself. That is the definition of humility given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. By practicing that alone, we can avoid Vaishnava Aparadha. Next. Okay, so for today we'll take leave. We'll again meet tomorrow. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna Nama Prabhu ki Jai.